What's up, everybody? It's Ravens week again. I know it's deja vu. We just played the Ravens, and then we had a bye week, and now we playing the Ravens again. Is this a mistake? Did Quincy forget to change the thumbnail in the video again? Is he being lazy? Is he sitting on his big old chair there and forget? No, man. It's Ravens week again, and like we do on Ravens week, we bring in engraving videos here. Back at it again with another collab. Quincy, nice to have you back so soon, bud.
Yeah, we did feel like we were just talking a couple weeks ago because we were. But yeah,
Mhm.
good to be back. And thank you NFL for scheduling this like this. So I appreciate you having me on though.
I like to think that the Browns had something to do with that 2 point
Who
decision that
knows?
y'all have. You know what I mean? I feel like the Browns, cost y'all that game because, it's another division game. We don't want to go into overtime playing a division game. I know how hardballs think. They overthink stuff all the time. I'm used to them at Michigan. But this one
Mm.
in Baltimore, he's usually much better than his brother. But I think he overthought it. It was like, hey man, we got overtime, 2 division games in a row. Let's not risk it. Let's just get the biscuit now. And the
Yeah.
biscuit wasn't there. It just
Yeah.
wasn't there. But this week is going to be a different monster. Ravens coming into this game with a ton of injuries. Browns coming into this game with a ton of questions. Now, the no Marlon Humphrey thing. Given that the Browns have not had a strong passing attack, how much does that concern you for this week's game? Versus like if it were a team like, let's say, like the Chargers, some team that's like leans on their passing attack, right? Knowing that the Browns lean on that run game, the run game wasn't very successful. You're going to have Calais Campbell back at least. Do you
Mhm.
think that offsets a little bit of the Marlon Humphreys, given how this team matches up with the other?
Oh, it's scary stuff. And you just as a Ravens fan, you hope that this isn't the Baker Mayfield bounce back game. Marlon Humphrey being out is a huge blow because Marlon Humphrey, even though he was having a down year this year, he was still our best cornerback that we had. And the drop off from a Marlon Humphrey and everything after him is a significant drop off. Anthony Averett, the good thing that we have in Anthony Averett and Jimmy Smith and Tavon Young is experience. It's starting experience. The Ravens are not going to be going into this game with guys that have never started or haven't seen extensive action in the NFL before. So that's one thing that we can just look forward to. But still, it is scary stuff because with Marlon Humphrey out, um, that was one of our main veterans in the secondary. Now, Jimmy Smith, he's also a veteran. He's obviously been around a lot longer than Marlon Humphrey, but he really hasn't been playing too much this year. So he's going to be out there a lot more than he has been. But it's very, very concerning. Now Browns, they're gonna be at home, so they'll have that energy, they'll have that hype, especially because this is against the Ravens. This is against a team that the Browns have struggled with for the most part recently. They did get the win back in 2019 in week 4, I believe. But for the rest of Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson's games against each other, Lamar has gotten the best of him. And Baker's, of course, made some plays in a lot of those games, but the Ravens have ended up being the winners of those. But in this game, with the defense in the shape that it's in, the secondary in the shape that it's in, you just wonder how the Ravens cornerbacks are going to play, if they're going to press against these Browns receivers, or if they're going to sort of step back, how Ravens defensive coordinator, how he's going to scheme against the Browns. Because, with Don Martindale, Ravens defensive coordinator, he loves to blitz, live by, die by the blitz. But I wonder now, especially with Marlon Humphrey being out, if he'll sort of scale it back a bit. But we'll see on Sunday.
Yeah. It's an interesting matchup, and it's an interesting way that this game is scheduled, right? Because the Browns are not only coming off a bye week and playing the Ravens, which is already, supposed to be some type of advantage. Their very last game they played was against the Ravens, right? So that simplifies a lot of things, right? When you're preparing for a team that you have already spent the previous week preparing for, and then you get 2 extra weeks to look at that tape, look at how the Ravens reacted to what you did, and then put those things to the test while the Ravens were busy with Pittsburgh, right? So they can't put that same amount of energy into their game plan.
Right.
Do you think that's going to be something that's going to drastically affect this Ravens team on top of, like, no hump, everything else? Myles Garrett having that extra week of tape. You know what I mean? So just from a scheduling standpoint, how much more difficult does this make this game?
Oh, it makes it extremely tough. Because like you said, Browns coaches, they got to sit on this for 2 weeks and they got to just sit back and relax. While the Ravens had to play the Steelers. And the Browns, they obviously got to see a lot of the Ravens' weaknesses up close and personal in their game 2 weeks ago. And then you can also watch their weaknesses against the Steelers. What did Steelers do that really threw the Ravens off, that really just rattled the Ravens? And you know what? What did we do as Browns? What did we do that really rattled the Ravens and messed them up and threw them off? So you can take all of that and then you can add a little bit more to it this weekend in your game plan and your strategy, and just really just try to take advantage. So the Browns, they definitely have a leg up when it comes to that. So in Ravens, this game is going to truly be for both teams, but it's going to truly be a game of adjustments. Can you adjust to what the opposing team thinks your tendencies are? Can you really, these guys that you just saw 2 weeks ago, can you come out and show them something different? So that this game coaching is I mean, coaching obviously has a big impact on every game, but this game specifically, especially the way that the schedule set it up, is going to really show the better coaching is going to be the winners of this game.
I think you hit on something real important here, right? This is going to be a real test of that coaching staff with the Baltimore Ravens, and a real test of John Harbaugh, right? Because not only is he being asked to outcoach a guy who has had 3 straight weeks of preparation on you, who is also a former coach of the year. So you would assume, this guy's not like Freddie Kitchens or something like that. But it's that you're being asked to do that, and right now. And I know Browns fans might be surprised to hear this, but their back's kind of against the wall with a lot of Raven fans there. A lot of fans are fed up with Greg Roman. A lot of fans are just kind of fed up with the overall staff there, the coaching staff there in Baltimore, and how, things kind of are going to do, or they feel like it's going to be the same old, where it's like, yeah, we make the playoffs, but we get like an exit early, or we get eliminated faster than we should, or we don't have the pieces right now. And I saw a lot of criticism from like Dan Orlovsky about the route concepts. I mean,
yes,
like
sir.
with Greg Roman, we have known these route concepts have been pretty Greg Roman for a while. Like, this is something that Steve Smith used to hit on a lot, where he's like, they run the same plays that I ran in Carolina when I was down there with Greg Roman, which is like 2 coaching staffs ago. But yeah, with the Ravens coaching staff kind of having their backs against the wall, do you think this is a game where, they're going to come out and really surprise a lot of folks? Or do you think there's going to be a game where a lot of people are going to feel emboldened about what they feel about this coaching staff already in the negative direction?
It's a tough one, because I feel like these 2021 Ravens, once us as fans, as Ravens fans, we really feel like we have them figured out. It's like they do something that's just like, oh, okay, I didn't see that coming. And that's with the coaching staff and with the team as well, the personnel. But this game, we just hope that the Ravens, what they've been consistent at, their bad consistencies, we hope that they can get rid of those. But at the same time, our expectations are not crazy high that they will, since they've been doing a lot of the same thing for so long, game after game after game. And probably one of the biggest things that us as Ravens fans are hoping that the coaching staff can do early on is just really put this offense in position to succeed early on. And it's not all on the coaching staff. The players, they have to execute it as well. But a lot of times with the Ravens, they get off to these super slow starts on offense, to where they're not scoring points. And if they are scoring points, maybe a field goal, but they're not moving the ball consistently. They get off to these super slow starts, and allowed teams to hang around with them in games. And it's not even that we expect to blow out every game. I know 2019, that was crazy. I always tell people that it wasn't a real season; it was a dream because of how Ravens were just blowing so many teams out, and it was wild. Um, but we do expect better of this team. We expect better, especially of this offense. So there's a lot of heat on Greg Roman. There's a lot of pressure on him as an offensive coordinator to really get these guys going. One thing that a lot of us would love to see, we don't expect to see it, but we would love to see it, would be a more up-tempo offense early on. What the Ravens have been doing, they start off so slow in all these games. And then when it's 2 minutes left or a minute and a half left in the fourth quarter, that's when the offense, that's when they want to pick up the pace. And that's when they really want to run up-tempo offense. But we just wish, in order for them to get off to a quicker start, that they would run that a lot earlier. And against a pass rush, like the Ravens struggled with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney in the last game. And against a pass rush like the Browns, and with our bad offensive line, you would hope that the Ravens would have a more up-tempo, quick passing game offense. And even with the up-tempo, that allows less substitutions, and guys will have to remain out there, and the defense can get tired. So that's what you want, especially in a game like this, especially against guys that you just played. You don't want them to be able to make adjustments. So hopefully the Ravens and their coaching staff, they prepare well, and then the players, of course, execute even better.
Now, the coaching staff has been one of these enigmas throughout the year. I think another enigma throughout this year has been Lamar Jackson. Now, this is a weird week for a lot of people, because, like, as a Browns fan, I think my perception of Lamar Jackson is different than what like a Steeler fan's perception of him would be, because quite frankly, I've seen Lamar Jackson do some stuff, and I've seen him do that stuff to the team that I love. So I always have a healthy fear of Lamar Jackson, even when he's playing bad, even when he throws 4 interceptions, because against the Browns, the Mark Andrews play, it's there. The Hollywood Brown play, it's there when it's not for other teams. So there is that going into this game where Lamar does usually perform well. I think that 4 interception game was probably, I think, by far his worst game he's ever played, versus Cleveland. And with Lamar, and if we look at it, he's been not playing at a Lamar Jackson level,
Right.
really, since you guys beat down the Chargers at home, right? I think that's the last time Lamar Jackson was Lamar Jackson. That's the last time he actually threw over 70% completion too. Is there something going on with him physically that he's just not right now, and that's leading to these interceptions? Because it's not a guy who's thrown a lot of interceptions throughout his career.
Right.
What's going on? Is this mental with Lamar? Is it just bad decision making popping up out of nowhere, or is this something physical? Is he injured and just not saying anything?
I think it's a mix of both physical and mental. Now, throughout this season, all except the game against the Chiefs, the offensive line has been really, really bad. They've been all kinds of bad, allowing pressure, allowing him to get hit. He's been getting sacked a lot, and way more than he's ever been sacked. He's thrown way more interceptions this year than he's almost thrown combined in the past 3 years. But Lamar Jackson, early on throughout this season, usually whenever he drops back, he has to take off and run because pressure just comes in. So I think since that's been happening so much, so often, I feel like it's just been adding up, and it's been throwing off his mental clock. It's been throwing off just his trust in the offensive line, and almost his trust in himself. And it's something that we know what the fix is, and I feel like if the offensive line protected better, that would be a big fix. But also, if the play design was better, and what I mean by that, with Lamar and this offense, a lot of these plays, a lot of their passing plays, they're these long downfield developing plays, And you can't continue to just go to that over and over and over with the shape that your offensive line is in. I also think with Lamar Jackson, he's a very accountable player. So he holds himself accountable, and I think and especially, I mean, you're the quarterback of a team, so you're definitely you're automatically, well, not necessarily for everybody, but as a starting quarterback, you're usually automatically a leader of that team, and we know Lamar Jackson is definitely a leader for the Ravens. So with so many people having been injured this year, losing so many significant players, so many starters, just so much depth, losing so much this year. I feel like Lamar, he feels like, all right, I gotta be the hero. It's gotta be me. I gotta come through. I have to do this. I have to make something happen. And that's led to him a lot of times he won't throw the ball away. He'll
Mhm.
try to make every single play, and it's like a gift and a curse all at the same time, because it's either boom or bust plays. Boom when it works, hey, great, got a big play, big chunk, nice conversion, whatever it may be. But when it doesn't work, oh, interception, fumble, sack, lost yards, it's boom or bust. And I feel like he's got, and he said it in the presser today. He got to learn when to cut their losses. So he's got to do a better job of just getting rid of the ball, throwing it away sometimes. It's okay to live, to fight another down. So when Lamar gets that, when this offense can call more short passing plays, and everything's not just deep plays, then I think they'll be in much better shape.
Yeah, you mentioned something there with like Lamar having to learn like when to throw it out of bounds and when to give up on the play. But that has to be so hard when
Hmm.
you're Lamar Jackson versus like if you're somebody who doesn't have that skill set. Because even in the NFL, any play for Lamar, he has to feel like can be his play because he's done it before,
Right.
right? So for him, it's not like, it's not like if let's just use Jimmy Garoppolo, right? It might be real easy to tell Jimmy Garoppolo just throw that thing out of bounds, right? Because no disrespect to Jimmy Garoppolo, but he's Jimmy
Right.
Garoppolo. Like he probably doesn't expect himself to be able to make a Patrick Mahomes type throw. But when you get to somebody like a Josh Allen, like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Lamar Jackson, when we're talking about like just freakish athletes at the quarterback position, Cam Newton early in his career and up until now, honestly, if you watch him with the Panthers again now, has the same issue, right? Where you would want them to give up on some plays, but it's hard to dictate what plays those are going to be because a broken play is still a big play that can be made for those dudes. And it almost becomes something you just have to live with at a certain point because it's part of the package. Because you don't want Lamar throwing the ball out of bounds when he might have a rush lane, right? That he can get 40 yards on because a lot of the offense kind of relies on it. So that's kind of been something that's fascinated me from the outside looking in. When you look at those type of quarterbacks and like how coaches kind of have to coach them, at what point, do you tell them that they can't make a play when their
Mm.
whole career has been based off of making those
Right.
plays that nobody else can?
Hmm. That's what makes it that much tougher, because of exactly what you said. Since he's made so many plays throughout his career, ever since 2018, he's just made so many plays. That's why this slump where it's been a lack of those, and it's almost again he's almost a victim of his own success. Since he has been very successful, so many highlight reel plays, so much just craziness in a good way. That's why when you don't see him make those, it's like, hold up, what's going on? And I feel like Lamar, he's not looked at like a regular quarterback. I mean, he's obviously not a regular quarterback. But I feel like he's a victim of his own success when it comes to that.
Definitely, definitely. All right. Well, Graven, I want to thank you for coming on. A lot of great knowledge about the Ravens and just football in general. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Engraven at youtube.com/engravenvid. Y'all know where to go. But Engraven, thank you for coming on.
Oh yeah.
Anything else you want to say before we head out, man?
Well, just let's prepare ourselves for another stressful AFC North game, like we know
Are
it's
you
gonna
doing?
be.
Are you doing a watch party?
Oh, you already know what time it is, man,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. All right. So again, just like last time, whoever's misery that you want to taste or whoever's joy that you want to share in, it is available this week. Unless we tied, and you're just going to just see us
Yeah.
as
Well,
not
there you go.
knowing what to make of it at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be fun stuff. Make sure you check us both out on game day. But thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Have a good night.